This week, we have a special guest, Tracy Pounds. She owns the brick and mortar store, The Little Blue House, and an online empire is what I'm calling it. Miss Tracy Creates. I cannot wait to introduce her to you. She runs 4 successful paid memberships. In addition to a successful brick and mortar, she pivoted when times changed in the world to a better place for herself, her customers, and her family. I cannot wait for you guys to hear her story and get inspired by this amazing creative on fire. Hey, my friend, it's Melanie Ferguson, your host of Creatives on Fire, the podcast where I hope to inspire you to create a profitable 6-figure following online. So turn it up and listen in to amazing stories of success, along with behind-the-scenes secrets and valuable tips from, you guessed it, Creatives on Fire. Hey, my sweet friend, Melanie here. I have a couple of questions for you. I want to ask you if you are struggling at all with overwhelm, feeling like you need to be in a million places, not having enough time. Maybe you struggle with feeling like you're not good enough. Or who am I? Who am I to be sharing this with my audience? That imposter syndrome that a lot of us struggle with. What about just knowing what the next step is you should take in your business? Does any of this resonate with you? If so, I'd love to invite you to Creatives on Fire Insiders. This is an amazing group of creatives who are finding success and growing their businesses together. It's designed to stop the overwhelm, to build your confidence, and to guide you through the next steps you should take in your business. A lot of our focus inside is on video and live video specifically, how to get good at it, how to really capitalize on the time that we spend in our businesses. If this sounds like anything that interests you, come spend some time with us, because let's face it, who you spend your time with matters. Check us out at creativesonfireinsiders.com. We'll see you there. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, my guest is a dear friend, Miss Tracy Pounds, and she has the business Miss Tracy Creates, which includes 4 different memberships. I cannot wait to share her with you guys. Tracy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Melanie. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's find out. First of all, tell me everything about having 4. Like, what got into you to create 4 different memberships?
Well, let me tell you that really, let me give you a little bit of my background here. Yes, my name is Tracy Pounds. My business name is Miss Tracy Creates. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I did not start there. I've actually been in the creative industry for, probably 25 years now, maybe even more. I'm going to date myself here. But I've always just enjoyed making so much, and I love sharing that passion with others. I love to teach others. I love the joy that gives me. And so about 11 years ago, I actually opened my own brick and mortar studio, which is called The Little Blue House. It's a store and studio. And we're going into our 12th year, I think now. Well, a couple years ago, I really could tell that the retail side of things was really tapering off, and that really our creative industry was going online. It had already gone online. So much was happening online, and I knew if I wanted to continue my success and continue to grow my business, I had to go online too. And this was very scary. So for a little while, I kind of had like one toe dipped in the water, right? Just doing a little bit back and forth a little bit. And then boom, guess what happened? The pandemic. The pandemic hit. And really what that did for me is it just gave me the push that, I've got to do it. It's time to do it. I can't keep kind of going back and forth. It's time to jump all in. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm so glad that I did. The online creative world is amazing. I've been able to grow my circles of friends, followers, customers. It's just been a game changer for my business. And so that's kind of how the groups started. It was a way for people to stay connected. It was a way for people to have this community, to also have FaceTime with me so I could continue to teach online. And unfortunately, a lot of business coaches will tell you, okay, you've got to niche to one thing. Like it's really important to niche down to one thing. And Melanie, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I love all the things. So I basically now have 4 membership groups for 4 things that I'm very, very passionate about. One is called the Napkin Club. One is the Fabric Fan Club. Those 2 membership groups, they're paid membership groups that actually have a kit involved where they actually get a kit every single month. And then I have 2 other memberships. One is the Page Builders Clubhouse. That is for memory keepers, for scrapbookers. And then also the Faith Journaling Experience, which is for Bible journaling. So these are all things that I just really am passionate about. And I'm just having so much fun growing my audience, growing my groups. My groups now total about 1,700 in total members. And they're just continuing to grow. And I love it. I love everything about it.
I love your story, and I love how enthusiastic you are about just trying all the things and making the ones that stick work. So you didn't just wake up one day and have all 4 groups. How did it start?
No, I actually started with my core audience, which having my store was paper crafting, basically paper crafting store and studio. So I started with kind of my core customer, which we had a lot of scrapbookers. We had a lot of paper crafters. So that's where I started, was with the Page Builders Clubhouse. And that group has done very, very well. Really, that's the one I kind of tested the waters with. I was kind of like, okay, I want to see how this is going to go. I fell in love with it. And then that in turn then led to, okay, I think I should do this for some of my other core groups of customers. And that's kind of how I broke it down. I have core groups of customers here at my shop. And so I wanted to have a group that fit every niche, every customer group. There's a lot of crossover. I have several people that are in multiple of those groups.
Which works as well, right?
Yes.
So when you started the online part of your business, because you told us in your story that you were a brick and mortar, the pandemic hit, and you knew that you had to pivot a little bit. What did that look like when you were just getting started online, and how have you been able to grow that?
I will tell you, it was a huge pivot, I was so used to the in-person interaction, and then pivoting online. Number one issue I'm going to say was the tech. I was scared of the tech. I was so scared of the technology, and I had to basically go in and do a lot of teaching for myself. I realized very quickly that I'm not very good at teaching myself, and that's when I came in contact and started doing some research. Well, actually, I did research first, and then came in contact and joined some groups, much like what you're doing with Creatives on Fire, because I needed help. I needed other people in the same position that I was in to kind of help me make this transition, and that was vital for me. It really was. And then probably the best thing, I think, well, let me start with what I did in the beginning and then what I realized I needed to do. In the beginning, I really jumped in, and when it came to trying to learn all the things, that's exactly what I tried to do. I tried to learn all the things, and let me tell you, major overwhelm. It caused major doubt, because I was like, I don't think I can do this. I mean, that's just too many things. And so it's like, I say this a lot to myself. I kind of had to have a talk with myself in the mirror. Like, okay, we are going to do this. We're going to cut out the self-doubt. We're going to do this, but we're going to take this one step at a time. And so for me, just implementing, finding that first thing. Okay, what's the first thing I really need to do? I need to grow my audience, right? So I started implementing things, started going live, started doing things to grow my audience, and then implemented the next thing, and then the next thing, and so on. And that was really important for me because trying to absorb all of it was just brain overload.
I agree. There's a lot of information out there, and it's really easy to fall into the trap of just overwhelm, like you said. And I love that you said that you have a chat with yourself in the mirror, just getting still and getting real with what it is that you know already you can do. You just need to execute. You need to
Yep.
take action on those doubts and fears so that they'll go away. And so you started going live, I heard you say, on your page, and you started growing an audience. And so tell me, Tracy, when did you know you were going to be successful online? At what point? When did you look up and be like, oh, wow, it's happening?
Well, probably, I'm going to say that it happened when I launched the Napkin Club. And some people out there that are listening are probably thinking, why in the world would you have a napkin club? Well, I love to repurpose napkins. I love to create with napkins. And there's so many things that you can do with napkin art, napkin crafting, all the things. And it crosses over to all of my customers. Napkin art can be done in Bible journaling. It can be done on a layout, on a card. It can be done for home decor, just all the things. So I kind of mentioned to my team here, which is the girls that work here with me at my store and studio, the Little Blue House. I said, I've got this idea, and I had actually been sitting on it for a while. And I would imagine there are people listening right now that are sitting on an idea. I had been sitting on this idea, Melanie, probably for 2 years, and just like thinking about it. Should I do it? Should I not do it? All the things. And I finally was just like, okay, I'm going all in. We're going to launch it. It will make sense to people or it won't. When we actually launched, I did several videos prior to the launch of just little things, little projects, just showing them kind of the basics of napkin art and how amazing it could be. And started a free group, just where people could come and watch these videos. Again, just to build the anticipation and kind of for me also, just to see how many people were attracted to it, right? Like how many people were kind of into it. And then launched the group. And I felt pretty certain that very first launch, we wound up with I think it was close to 100 people that signed up for the Napkin Club, which is a recurring payment. So it's a monthly payment. We mail a variety of napkins in a bundle that comes right to their door. They get access to a private Facebook group this time. So it's private, our personal hangout. And then I do workshops. I go live once a week in the group and show things that I'm making with that bundle. And it just has been so awesome. And what happened is everyone that was in the group enjoyed it, loved it, started making their things, started showing them to their neighbors and gifting them to people. And then people wanted to know more, like, how did you do that? It looks hand painted, all of those kinds of things. And then the group just continued to grow. And I think probably by the third month, I was like, okay, this is working. This is working. Everyone was just as passionate and just as excited as I was about it. And then that gave me, the confidence then to work my way into the next group, which was the Fabric Fan Club, which was for my stitchers and my fabric people. So again, I think a lot of where my group focus came from really was from my store, because I knew where my core group of customers were. And so I just kind of launched towards them and their interests, and couldn't be happier. It's been so nice to have people from all over the United States, part of those groups. And when you're local, right, your circle is small. It's really just the people within driving distance that come to your shop. It's the people, that might come in town that week or weekend or something. Whereas now, it's huge. We're even beginning to ship internationally and things like that. We've taken our store online with our product sales, and it's just been an amazing, gosh, I want to call it like a rocket launch, because that's what it felt like. It's like my business has just completely pivoted, and this rocket launch is just soaring. And I'm just amazed by it. I'm humbled by it, and I just feel so honored and privileged for these people to to allow me to be a part of their creative lives.
I am just overwhelmed with your story, even because it's so miraculous. What a blessing. So let me ask you, Tracy, if you were speaking to a brick and mortar person who was hit pretty hard, or maybe they're just getting started and they are hoping to grow it beyond, again, their four walls, what would you say to them?
I would encourage them to immediately start going live. Even if they're not prepared to take that leap in, to teaching or selling online, even if they're not ready to do that quite yet, they need to be going online. They need to be doing lives. That's going to attract people to their business. That's going to bring more people in. And the more people that come in, that will help give them the confidence that, oh, look, we could take this online. Look at all these followers we have that are not local to us. We could branch out online. And so I think that would help to give them that confidence. And then just the confidence of being behind the camera, getting used to it, just showing the new products that came in that week, or, hey, I'm working on a new technique. I want y'all to watch and see, things like that. But getting comfortable with being behind the camera, and then letting people get to know you. It's been said time and time again, and it's so true. People will purchase from who they know, like, and trust. And they can't know, like, and trust you if they can't see you and get to know you online.
That's true. No truer words have been said. So as you got to know the people who came into your store and you could try to evaluate them, I'm assuming by their purchases and things that they gravitated towards, that is the information that you use to create these 4 separate memberships. So if somebody was just getting started and they wanted to kind of follow your path with creating this online empire, for lack of a better word, what should they be looking for? Are there certain questions they should be asking their customers?
Well, it's definitely, especially if they already have a brick and mortar, this is something they should be doing already. They should know their target audience. Who are they catering to? Because you're bringing in products for that specific customer, right? So I think just breaking down and thinking about, okay, I'm bringing in these products for this type of customer. I'm bringing in these products for this type of customer. And then I think one thing I think is really important, especially if as a creative, if you are teaching classes in person, if you're doing things like that, one real big advantage that my customers have loved, and I'm talking about my local customers, they love the fact that they can watch workshops online on their time schedule. It's not like you have to have one night for one class, and if people can't make that night, they can't make that night. But if you'll do an online video of that workshop as well, then you can sell that workshop over and over and over and over again. And people can watch it whenever it's convenient for them. And my customers have definitely loved that. And especially with the impact of the pandemic, there are still a lot of people that are not quite ready to do a lot of there are people going out in person, but maybe they don't want to be sitting right next to a stranger taking a class, right? So that allows them to still be creative, to still learn and to still enjoy, but to be able to do it online at their convenience.
I love that. And it's sometimes really fun to set up little tutorials like that when you have a new product that you're promoting and you need to show people how to use this or how to best capitalize on this new product. And then you have a place where you can send people who do come in person and say, hey, go check on my page. I have a tutorial on there and I'll tag you there, and you have an excuse to stay in touch with them.
Exactly. And just I'm going to be demoing on my page, Miss Tracy Creates, a crackle medium pretty soon. It's a crackle that I love. It's one that I love to use. And just think about it. If I'm in the store, if you're in the store, in a brick and mortar store, you can only demo so many times to whoever walks in. But if you video the demo, right? Like if you actually do it, you video the demo, you can put it out there on your Facebook business page. That's going to attract people both ways to either shop online from you or to come in and purchase it at the store. And you don't have to do it a million times to just whoever happens to walk in.
So what has, Tracy, having these 4 memberships done for you?
Okay, I will tell you, it has completely changed, I'll call it my business plan, because the membership groups bring in a regular monthly payment every month. So that's regular revenue that I can count on every single month. It's not me hoping that so many people will come in the door to purchase so that I can cover payroll next week, right? It's regular money. It's regular revenue coming that I can count on every single month. And now that revenue is really, it helps to cover all of the expenses. So it takes the pressure off of the store itself to have to produce those things. So I'm utilizing my store differently now. We're not open as many hours because we have to have time now to do all the things that we do for online. Our classroom has kind of has transitioned more into shipping and kitting and all of the things because we're teaching and doing those things online now.
So brilliant. I tell you what, Tracy, what motivates you?
You know what? I am so motivated by the smiles on my customers' faces. I'm motivated by their comments when I'm teaching them online. Just the act of making something, I truly believe, Melanie, is good for the mind, body, and soul. And I see that every day in my customers. I see how that can affect their day. It can change their day for the better. And so I'm really... that's really what motivates me is the relationships that I've been able to form and just looking at the joy that what I'm doing is bringing to others. It's just the best. It's the best.
It is. And so if somebody wants a little piece of this creativity from Miss Tracy Creates, where would they look for you online?
Yes, if you would like to come follow me, the serial crafter, the maker at heart, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Miss Tracy, Tracy Creates, Miss Tracy Creates. You can also go to my website if you want to see information about my membership groups, which is misstracycreates.com.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom, all this excitement. I'm just ready to go conquer the world.
Well, thank you again for having me. And I just want to send a word of encouragement out to anyone out there that's listening that you can do the hard things. Pick the one hard thing at a time, figure it out, implement it, and then move on to the next hard thing. But you can do it.
You can. I appreciate those words. Thank you, Tracy. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, my friend, for listening to the podcast. I'm blessed every single time you come back and listen to an episode. It's especially amazing when you share it with others on social media. So be sure to follow Creatives on Fire online. Listen, if you have not already done so, I want you to go ahead and download the 5 ideas I personally used to explode my online audience growth to a 6-figure following. You can find that at creativesonfirepodcast.com. I appreciate you, and until next time, stay inspired.